I'd like to call the regular meeting for September 8th, 2008 to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Funderburg?
Here.
Mr. McCavage?
Here.
Ms. Kraut? Here. Ms. Roscoe? Here. Ms. Buckley?
Here.
Mr. Federick?
Present.
Ms. Frager is also present.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature by the Board of Education and will be acted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items. If any member of the board or any citizen requests discussion on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and become the first item of business under the report of the superintendent's portion of the agenda.
Mr. President, I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Motion by Frayer,
I'll support.
supported by Minkiewicz. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. 7-0, motion passed. Next item of business is report of the superintendent. Mr. Weiss?
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item on the report of superintendent, we have some surplus textbooks that we would like to dispose of.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we declare surplus the following textbooks that are listed for Romulus Middle School Social Studies Department.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. Frayer. Is there any questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next item, we have some surplus equipment also, a clay mixing machine from the high school.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we declare the surplus a clay mixing machine located in Art Room 707 at Romulus High School.
Support.
Got a motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Mr. McKevich. Is there any questions? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
The next item is an informational item, as opposed to an action item. Just tracking our enrollment. Again, this is something that's very important to us as funding is tied to the level of student enrollment. And I want to report that the district is, as you're aware, the district planned for a drop in enrollment this year because of the economic climate and some of the things with the situation with the airport. We decided it would be prudent to plan for a drop of about 2,000 students, and that's the way our budget.
You mean
200.
Sorry. Just want to see if you're awake.
I think we're all awake now. We need defibrillator.
Drop of 200 students. Anyway, and so we track, we had kind of a, we use a student tracking document, and every day for the first couple weeks of school, each building submits an attendance based on actual head count rather than students we think are coming, and it's been the most accurate way. And on the first student day on the 2nd of September, the day after Labor Day, we were down to 3,518 students. By Friday, we picked up to 3,882 students, and today we're at 3,922 students. So we're trending up. Our experience over the last couple of years is most of the students we gained back the first week, but we'll probably still pick up a few through the week. And so we're watching those numbers very carefully. Again, we're looking at transferring a few more students. We try to get them all transferred the first couple of days of school to balance our class sizes, but invariably we have a situation we're dealing with right now at Rommel where we're going to have to probably move about 5 kindergartners from Rommel over to WIC because they're beyond capacity, but they don't have enough to open up 2 sections.
You sure to Wick? From
Yes.
Would it be easier to go to Corey with them?
There may be 1 or 2 that are going to Corey, but most of them will go to WIC. That's the plan right now. We're working through that, but the numbers at WIC, they have room. They're a little on the high side at WIC, but not as high as Rommel's at 37, And so, this will, I believe, bring WIC up to 31 in each kindergarten, and they'll get a full-time aide also.
How many students are at Corey?
Corey is 28 right now in kindergarten.
You know, Giovanna just called Carl right when you were having the study session, and she said 28, 29. So she was just asking about the aid, you know, when the aid would be starting.
Okay. Yeah, I asked her to give me a call in the morning. We'll work through that. And if we need to send some to Corey to balance out, we'll do that also. But originally the plan was to go to WIC, but every day it changes a little bit.
Where are we with Hale Creek, Merriman,
Hale Creek, Merriman, and Barth all have 2 sections of kindergarten.
all three? Okay.
Yes. And actually, Barth, we changed at the end of the week. One of rather than 2 full sections of kindergarten, because her numbers were a little light on kindergarten, but heavy in 1st grade, and so we're doing a K1 split. That's the only split we have right now in the district is at Barth. That was a decision we made at the end of last week.
On, no, I lost track. We've got 2, 2, 2. The only ones that don't have 2 would be Corey and Romulus.
Rommel and Corey do not have 2, so 4 of the
Is
6
it-
buildings have 2.
Is there a possibility to say Romulus getting a second?
Well, we were on the edge there. Here's what we're dealing with right now. Again, we're booking about 3,922 students. That means we're still off about 100 from what we budgeted for. So right now I'm not adding staff because we're down quite a bit. If things pick up during the week, we may be able to revise that decision. So we're trying to hold, and it's kind of a fine balance between, we don't want people in a kindergarten class with 36 or 37 certainly, but we're trying to spread them out as best we can, but there's going to be a little bit of messiness for the next couple days until this gets completely resolved. Again, we encourage our families to register their children ahead of time and to come the first day of school, and so sometimes as you know, as people aren't able to do that, come in late, you know, we try to do the best we can, but there's usually a little messiness involved.
What about our other elementary grades? Are they pretty much holding?
I will tell you that the elementary teachers, by and large, are very happy with their class sizes right now. Numbers are very good. Probably the lowest we've had. Just at the elementary level, we were down about 80-some students over last year, and we have the same number of teachers. And so that tells you that last year the sections were running a lot fuller than they are this year.
Middle school, is that still?
Middle school's still off by about 50, and the high school, I believe, is off by about 70 over what we planned for.
Ms. Buckley?
What about our schools of choice, Carl? What kind of numbers did we get for those?
We ended up with, I believe it was 45 students through school of choice.
Now then we're 45 new enrollees?
Not all of them were new. Some of them were students who were previously in our district that the parents moved
Okay.
out, so they allowed us to keep the students in. And then just by way of comparison, this time last year, I mentioned that today we were at 3922. At this time last year, we were at 4231. So we're down about, as I said, we planned for a reduction of 200. We're down about another 100 from what our plan was. So we're hoping that we'll pick up some more students throughout the week.
What's the numbers looking like at community?
Community's doing pretty well. They're at about 181 today. Last week they were in the 170s, so they're still picking up students. And one thing Rebecca reminded me of over there is that what will happen, usually the first couple of weeks, students who came back to Romulus High School may transition back over to community. You know, sometimes they come back, they want to try the high school, but they realize it's not a great fit, and they end up back over at community within a couple of weeks.
But we still don't lose the students, so we're still saying.
We don't lose the students, but we don't pick up any new ones
Right.
either, right? Any other questions about the enrollment?
did have one question. With the open choice, do you extend that, or does it have to be a certain set time? Can it be extended? Because I know that you set a date and then you extended the date. Can it be extended again?
No.
Okay.
And we can only extend it with permission. We have to get permission from the state superintendent of schools.
Okay.
There is something called an open school of choice, which is unlimited. So if 5,000 or 500 kids decided they wanted to come to Romulus, and you can't distinguish by grade either. And we've never gone that route because, again, the board's feeling was we wanted to kind of keep this slow and cautious, and weren't really interested in taking high school kids through school of choice. But you can only get that extension. It's a 2-week window, and you can only get that if you haven't hit your numbers, basically, if you haven't gotten all the students enrolled. But normally, all school of choice windows close at the end of the first week of school, because at that point, every district has to plan, their staffing and finalize things.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay.
Okay, just a couple other things I wanted to mention in my report. You have athletic schedules and school meeting schedules, and also the listing of everybody's voicemail extensions. And I wanted to add something to that. I passed out to you early a schedule this year. The board decided that they were going to take some of the board meetings into some of our schools. And so you have a schedule, and on October 27th, we will hold our board meeting at Hale Creek Elementary. On November 24th, we will hold our board meeting at Romulus Middle School. On January 26th, 2009, we will hold our board meeting at Community High and Middle School. And on March 23rd, 2009, we will hold our board meeting at Wick Elementary. So we're doing 4 this year, and we'll get pick up some of the other buildings next year. And there will be reminders of this too, because I know everybody's used to coming here, but we'll make sure everyone's aware.
Next item of business is communications and expressions from the public. Don't have any there. Next one is communications and concerns of board members. Does anybody have anything?
Just, in talking with Carl earlier, I know he's checking into the Mega League, because that seems to be getting to be an out-of-hand situation. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like you got the ADs going in one direction, the principals in another, and I just don't know what they're gonna end up doing. And I did see, well, I saw the Belleville football coach today in the AD, but it was at a funeral and I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I've never heard what their intent has been.
As far as I know, Belleville is staying in the Mega League.
What are we gonna do?
Well, there's a kind of a critical meeting tomorrow of the athletic directors and high school principals, and so we're kind of waiting to find out. We're hoping that we're going to see another rendition of what the new Mega League will look like a year from now, and we're hoping that it more accurately represents levels of competition for us that are consistent with the number of sports offerings that we have, and schools that will be competitive with Romulus, and also schools that are located within the same geographic area, so we're not traveling all over the state. And so we're kind of waiting to hear. As you know, I have some letters prepared that I have not sent out yet, where we may explore some other possibilities if we feel we need to. But I spoke with the executive secretary of the Mega League a couple weeks ago. He was optimistic that our needs could be addressed within the Mega League, so we're waiting to find out what that's going to look like. And I'll be sure to give you an update.
Carl, you mentioned that you had a tentative schedule of some of the different teams that we play. Is there a way that we can get a copy of that, see what that looked like?
Well,
They're all online.
Not for next year.
are you talking about, it's not a schedule, it's a listing of the
The districts,
divisions.
okay.
But I think what I would rather do is wait until tomorrow, because I think that's going to change. In fact, I've been assured that it's going to
Okay.
change. So I'd rather wait, and I'm hesitant to publish something just because it's still in flux, nothing has been finalized, but I'd certainly share the information with
Okay.
you. I can do that.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, on the meetings at the schools, we were talking about, it might be a good idea if you can get there about 6 o'clock, if you wanna check out the school, and the principal might wanna show you off to different community members and show the building and maybe some of the programs or projects the students been working on. So if you could try to get there by 6, maybe on them days, it could help out, instead of coming in and rushing to get right into the meeting if possible. So, other than that, next item of business is adjournment.
Mr. President, I would make the motion to adjourn.
Support. Go ahead.
Which one? Sandy?
Let's go.
Roscoe?
Okay, I got a motion by Frayer, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Any questions? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Meeting adjourned.